As Xiao Yin and the others ascended the heaven-piercing stone steps, a divine statue slowly emerged at the top. The statue was lifelike, exuding serenity, and a faint, mysterious power swirled around its form. It was none other than the statue of the Ferocious Soul Domain's master. Not far from the statue, several figures gradually appeared. The Black Corpse King from the Black Corpse Abyss and the three-faced apparition of Ghost Abyss Ridge, Moments later, the figures of the King of Nether Heaven and Xuanmu approached. So, the people from Yin Soul Heaven have arrived as well? The Black Corpse King muttered disdainfully after a brief glance. His voice carried an unmistakable tone of contempt. The Black Corpse King's body was cloaked in a black aura. His steps were stiff, his complexion ghastly pale, and his eyes empty. Upon closer inspection, it was clear his body bore no sign of vitality, only the ashen stillness of death. Behind the Black Corpse King stood a man whose aura was as ferocious as a soul beast's. His powerful, muscular frame testified to his formidable strength, which had reached the rare level of 4-star Do Xian. My lord, why not let me confront these so-called prodigies of Yin Soul Heaven? The muscular man's lips curled into an eager grin. Despite his tremendous strength, he was a soul-bound entity, making the blood of humans irresistibly tempting to him. Patience, the Black Corpse King replied with a dismissive wave of his hand. Nearby, the three-faced apparition chuckled knowingly, a hint of seductive power flickering between their brows. Even the woman at their side possessed extraordinary beauty and strength. Black Corpse King, three-faced apparition, the King of Nether Heaven greeted with a smile as he approached the two. Both the Black Corpse King and the three-faced apparition were lords of dimensions, their strength at the peak of 6-star Do Xian. Although the King of Nether Heaven was slightly weaker, his human heritage and Yin Soul Heaven's unique traits made him a figure of great interest in the Ferocious Soul Domain. Even the Black Corpse King and the three-faced apparition dared not underestimate him. King of Nether Heaven, it has been a while. How fares the Lord of Dimensions? The Black Corpse King asked casually, though his words were laced with sarcasm. Indeed, the Black Corpse King speaks wisely. However, our Lord of Dimensions has been tasked by the Ferocious Soul Domain's masters with other duties. Thus, such minor matters fall to me. The King of Nether Heaven replied with a polite yet warning smile. Everyone, let's remain calm. Once the experts of Yin Soul Heaven pass the heaven-piercing stone steps, we can proceed to the 4 great halls, the three-faced apparition interjected, attempting to mediate. The group fell silent, though the oppressive presence of the Black Corpse King's feral companion and the three-faced apparition's associate, both 4-star Do Xian, remained palpable. On the heaven-piercing stone steps, damn it, these steps are no joke, Xiao Yin muttered as he ascended, each step feeling like a 1,000-pound weight pressed against his body. His expression turned grim under the mounting pressure. Even more unsettling was the eerie phenomenon around him. Xiao Gui and Duan Qifei's figures had vanished entirely, leaving Xiao Yin seemingly alone on the steps. A profound sense of desolation surged through him. Buzz! Buzz! Suddenly, Xiao Yan's balance wavered, and he nearly stumbled, narrowly avoiding a fall. By now, he had climbed to the halfway point, though the total number of steps remained an enigma. The heaven-piercing stone steps seemed infused with mysterious spatial and chaotic forces, making their number vary from person to person. For some, the steps might be endless. For others, they were merely a few. Whoosh! Xiao Yan's gaze grew unfocused, and a faint azure glow emerged from his chest, rapidly transforming into a figure with long azure hair. Her cold eyes bore into Xiao Yin, radiating resentment. This figure was none other than Mu Yingying, whom Xiao Yin recognized instantly, a sacred flame that had taken human form. Yingying! Struggling under the oppressive weight, Xiao Yan's lips moved involuntarily as he murmured her name. Xiao Yin! Her voice was as cold as 10,000-year ice, devoid of emotion. Yingying, are you all right? Xiao Yin suppressed his emotions and softly inquired. Am I all right? My current fate, it's all your fault. A moment later, the azure figure's eyes narrowed sharply, then roared like a madwoman. I, Xiao Yin was momentarily speechless upon hearing this and hung his head in guilt. Brother Xiao Yin, who is she? Soon, another graceful figure with 3,000 strands of silky black hair cascading down appeared beside the azure figure. It was none other than Xun'er. However, Xun'er's elegant eyes were furrowed at this moment, a trace of anger evident between her brows. And who is she? The azure figure refused to back down, shouting in response. Brother Xiao Yin, are you abandoning Xun'er? Tears welled up in Xun'er's eyes as she sobbed. Sigh. The heaven-piercing stone steps formed by the forces of space and chaos are truly extraordinary, stirring up the boy's inner turmoil. It seems that if Mu Yingying isn't revived, it may affect his path to divinity in the future. The Devourer of Souls remarked with a resigned tone. With the Devourer of Souls' immense power and Xiao Yan's mysterious identity, it was highly probable that Xiao Yin would one day reach the pinnacle of cultivation. However, unresolved matters like this could cast a significant shadow over his future progress. This time, I will bring you back to life. And Xun'er, wait for me. Once Mu Yingying is revived, I will come for you. This time, we won't be separated again. In an instant, an overwhelming surge of Do Qi erupted from Xiao Yan's body, effortlessly shattering the two energy forms before him. His movements became more agile, and he quickly ascended, reaching the end of the heaven-piercing stone steps in mere moments. They finally arrived? The king of Nether Heaven, standing beneath a grand statue, smiled in relief. The heaven-piercing stone steps were a rite of passage for every strong individual entering the ferocious soul domain. Even powerful beings like them could not interfere. Now that all 11 had passed, the king of Nether Heaven was delighted. Oh, that kid with the heavy ruler seems rather extraordinary, the three-faced apparition exclaimed in surprise as her gaze fell upon Xiao Yin. So, they've made it. The Black Corpse King's eyes lit up with excitement as he watched the 11 figures of Yinhun Heaven arrive at the summit of the steps one by one. At the top, there was an expansive plain. Aside from the towering statue of the ferocious Soul Lord, there were no decorations. Mid 3-star Docian? A burly figure beside the Black Corpse King stared at Xiao Yin and blurted out in disbelief. This Xiao Yin, carrying a heavy ruler, exuded a chilling murderous intent. The aura emanating from him was even more unsettling than that of a typical perfect 3-star Docian. Since everyone is here, let's proceed. I believe the 4 Great Hall's experts have been waiting for us. The King of Nether Heaven chuckled and prepared to move forward. Heh, hold on a moment. I've heard much about Yinhun Heaven's vast lands and abundant talent, but now that I see it, it seems to fall short of its reputation. The Black Corpse General sneered. Even at first glance, he recognized Xiao Yan's extraordinary strength. A battle-hardened warrior, he couldn't resist the urge to seize the opportunity for a fight. The Black Corpse General was a ruthless warrior selected by the Black Corpse King from countless strong individuals in the Black Corpse Abyss. After slaughtering numerous opponents, he was sent to the ferocious soul domain. His strength had already reached the early stage of 4-star Docian. This guy, such ferocity. His aura reeks of bloodshed. He's likely someone who constantly treads the edge of life and death, remarked Heiju, who couldn't hide his wariness despite being on the verge of breaking through to 4-star Docian. Black Corpse King, what are you planning? Zhuomu frowned, stepping forward to shield the 11. These young human talents were rare, but their strength, limited to perfect 3-star Docian, would struggle against the Black Corpse General. Zhuomu, this is none of your concern. Moreover, these disciples are entering the 4 Great Halls of the ferocious soul domain. If they lack the strength or mentality to accept challenges, their presence in the halls will only bring shame. The Black Corpse King's words were sharp and unyielding. Oh, what does the Black Corpse King propose? The King of Nether Heaven stopped Zhuomu and smiled. If you win, it will prove the extraordinary strength of your hidden soul heaven. But if you lose, it seems your fertile territory will be nothing but an empty boast. The Black Corpse King sneered coldly. This guy, as expected, he has no good intentions, thought the King of Nether Heaven with a sneer. The Black Corpse King had clearly calculated this move well. Whether the Black Corps general won or lost, their side would suffer no losses. Yet, if Hidden Soul Heaven refused the challenge, it would only show their cowardice. So, King of Nether Heaven, what do you think of this suggestion? The Black Corps King spoke again after a few breaths, using the absence of Hidden Soul Heaven's Lord of Dimensions to ridicule them. I've long heard of the exceptional strength of Black Corps Abyss's warriors. Today, I, a humble junior, would like to test myself against them. I hope the King of Nether Heaven will grant me this wish. Not long after, Xiao approached the King of Nether Heaven with a smile and made his request. The 11 of them, having emerged victorious from the demon-suppressing prison, naturally deserved rewards. These rewards, however, would only be distributed once they entered the 4 great halls. Despite this, Xiao faced the oppressive presence of the Black Corps general without fear, returning a cold sneer. Since that's the case, let the battle begin. As the words fell, the crowd quickly retreated, clearing a large area for Xiao and the Black Corps general to fight. A violent, malevolent soul, Xiao muttered as he faced the Black Corps general. Neither of them attacked immediately, opting instead to observe each other coldly. Mid 3-star Do Xian strength, yet you can still make me feel an odd unease. It seems you have some treasures on you, the Black Corps general said, his body shrouded in ghostly energy that exuded a chilling aura. Cut the nonsense and fight. Let's see if your strength matches your arrogance. Xiao retorted, his brilliant flames suddenly bursting forth, causing the temperature in the space to rise significantly. Fire a tribute? The Black Corps general snorted coldly, his eyes narrowing in caution as a sinister, bloody energy began to emanate from his body. Take this, 7-layered Skybreaker ruler. Xiao shouted as he grabbed the ancient ruler behind him, its flames glowing brilliantly. He swung it fiercely at the Black Corps general. Though he did not unleash its full power, the 7-layered Skybreaker ruler was still formidable, making it a good way to gauge his opponent's 4-star Do Xian strength. Such a weak attack. You dare show that off? Black Corps Blood Hand. The Black Corps general's pupils contracted, and with a sudden burst of ghostly energy mixed with blood-red power, a sinister energy hand, over 100 feet wide, erupted from his body. The moment this energy hand appeared, the energy within the space surged violently. Clearly, the Black Corps general's early 4-star Do Xian strength was extraordinary. What terrifying strength, Xiao muttered as his 7-layered Skybreaker ruler's energy blade dissipated upon impact with the Black Corps Blood Hand. The Black Corps Blood Hand's momentum didn't diminish after destroying Xiao attack. Its bloody and oppressive aura spread, making Xiao breathing grow heavier. To emerge victorious from Black Corps Abyss and earn a place in the 4 great halls of the Ferocious Soul Domain, they must have some skill, Xiao said, the contempt in his tone replaced by a sense of gravity. 3rd finger of the firmament. Shatter mountains and rivers. Xiao gaze turned sharp as he raised his finger and pointed it toward the incoming Black Corps Blood Hand. In an instant, the energy within Xiao surged, and the surrounding heaven and earth energy roared as it flowed into his fingertip under the Black Corps general's watchful gaze. This guy, a mid 3-star Do Xian capable of unleashing such a powerful attack? Murmured a woman hidden behind the 3-faced apparition, her hand covering her mouth in astonishment. Break! Xiao roared as the 3rd finger of the firmament took form. Its dazzling light shot forth, piercing the sinister, bloody energy hand and continuing toward the Black Corps general. Boom! The brilliant flame attack pierced through the energy hand, igniting with sinister energy as it reached the Black Corps general. It erupted like a spectacular firework, enveloping the Black Corps general. At this moment, aside from the King of Nether Heaven, every other expert and disciple present began to look grim. I wonder what you think, my friend? Xiao spoke with a calm smile, watching as both his attack and the Black Corps general's attack dissolved into nothingness. He did not rush to act but instead gauged the situation. He knew well that, with his current strength at the mid 3-star Do Xian level, defeating the Black Corps general easily would be nearly impossible. However, his earlier warning was clear. If the Black Corps general refused to yield, Xiao Yin would have no choice but to expend time and effort to teach him a lesson. Master, allow me to fight him to the end. The Black Corpse General, as though provoked, exuded a violent and bloody aura. He cupped his fists and spoke to the Black Corpse King, his tone filled with determination. Forget it. After joining the 4 Great Halls, you'll have plenty of opportunities to spar. There's no need to rush. Let's move on. We mustn't keep the escorts from the 4 Great Halls waiting too long. The Black Corpse King's gaze lingered on Xiao Yin for a moment before shifting away. He understood that Xiao Yin, with his ability to reach this point as a mid-3-star Docian and his brief clash with the Black Corpse General, was undoubtedly the most formidable of the 11 candidates. For now, however, the priority was to join the 4 Great Halls. There was no reason to escalate tensions unnecessarily. Moreover, with the King of Netherheaven keeping a watchful eye, there was no need to disturb their precarious alliance over such a minor issue. Otherwise, if the ferocious Soul Lord grew angry, his wrath would be more than they could bear. Let's go then. With that, the group departed, each guiding their disciples in light beams that vanished into the interior of the divine statue. This statue, it's actually a spatial gateway? Xiao Yin remarked in surprise, watching the Black Corpse King and the 3-faced apparition leave. The heaven-piercing stone steps. Every expert who enters the Ferocious Soul domain is guided by these steps to pray before the statue of the Ferocious Soul Lord. There's an extremely faint chance that one might be discovered by the strong members of the 4 Great Halls and taken in as a disciple. But this is only a corner of the Ferocious Soul domain. Only through the statue can one access the territory of the 4 Great Halls. However, the method to activate the statue's power is known only to certain lords of dimensions. Let's go. When we meet the experts of the 4 Great Halls, choose which hall to join based on the situation, the King of Netherheaven said, transforming into a beam of light that enveloped the group and led them into the statue, heading toward the 4 Great Halls. Meanwhile, Duan Qifei appeared slightly melancholy, and even Xiao Gui seemed lost in thought. It was as if he had been to the Ferocious Soul domain before, but his limited memory brought him discomfort. At this moment, in the central area of the Ferocious Soul domain, a few figures had been waiting for some time in a pavilion. These were the recruiters responsible for guiding disciples from 3 different dimensions into the 4 Great Halls. The Ferocious Soul domain governed thousands of continents. Periodically, the Lords of Dimensions sent talented newcomers here as a reward. The best disciples selected would earn their Lords of Dimensions some benefits from the Ferocious Soul Lord. After rigorous training under the 4 Great Halls, these prodigies would often rise to prominence, eventually returning to their dimensions to govern and maintain the cycle that ensured the Ferocious Soul domain's eternal prosperity. In the center of the Ferocious Soul domain stood a pavilion, where 5 figures gathered. This pavilion was traditionally the resting place of the recruiters, and this occasion was no exception. Heh, Earth Spirit Old Ghost, you're here representing the Earth Spirit Hall for recruitment this time? It seems your hall master is quite interested in this batch of new blood, remarked an old man with white hair, taking a swig from his gourd of wine as he glanced at a serene elder before him. Your Judgment Hall sending you here also speaks volumes about your interest in this batch, the white-haired elder replied, casting a sidelong glance at the wine-drinking figure. Heh, Soul Halls Jiangzhong and Judgment Halls Yuan Xiao. It seems all 4 Great Halls are fully prepared this time, the drinking elder quipped after scanning the other 2. Jiangzhong from Soul Hall was rumored to be a formidable 6-star Docian, highly esteemed in his hall. Many of the Soul Hall's secretive studies were attributed to his work, earning him the favor of the Ferocious Soul Lord. His presence here hinted at an ulterior motive. Yuan Xiao from Judgment Hall was known for his overwhelming strength and command of powerful forces, a true general. His participation suggested that someone among this new batch of disciples had already captured his attention. The wine-drinking elder, Zhou Qi, was said to hold significant influence within the tribunal hall. As for the Earth Spirit Old Ghost, he was a nominal head teacher of the Earth Spirit Hall. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In an instant, the space around the pavilion began to writhe violently. Shortly after, a soldier clad in armor stepped forward. As the soldier emerged, An overwhelming, desolate aura surged around the pavilion. The black armor covering his entire body was adorned with countless writhing black patterns, making his aura exceptionally sinister and imposing. Even the four present individuals couldn't rival the intensity of his presence. This is the Ferocious Soul Guard, Underlord of the Ferocious Soul? After a brief pause, Zhou Qi spoke up first, his tone laced with recognition. The aura emanating from the armored soldier was all too familiar to him. These so-called Ferocious Soul Guards were exceedingly powerful, numbering only a few hundred, but each one was a peerless king among warriors. They resided in the divine hall of the Lord of the Ferocious Soul, serving exclusively as his personal guard. The soldier standing before them, judging by the intricate patterns on his armor, was undoubtedly one of the elite among the Ferocious Soul Guards. We didn't expect the general to personally arrive. Earth Spirit Old Ghost frowned slightly before speaking. Honorable lords, the armored soldier stood upright, his voice resounding with clarity and courtesy. I am here under the command of the Lord of the Ferocious Soul to escort one individual. Rest assured, I will not interfere with your absorption of fresh blood. There is no need to worry. This fellow, the Lord of the Ferocious Soul, really isn't willing to let her go. The other four powerful figures muttered to themselves upon hearing the soldier's commanding tone. It was clear that their purpose here overlapped with his. However, with an explicit order from the Lord of the Ferocious Soul, they had no choice but to abandon their plans. Still, the thought of the reincarnation sigils on that girl made their hearts itch with desire. After all, taking a reincarnator under their wing would undoubtedly elevate the strength of their hall to new heights. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At that moment, Xiao and his group, led by three powerful figures, emerged from the void and arrived at the pavilion. Clatter! As they stepped into the pavilion, the group immediately noticed the five formidable individuals before them. The three leaders, including the Black Corpse King, respectfully greeted them. These powerful figures were all prominent members of the four great halls, possessing human bodies without any semblance of soul forms. Even the Lord of Dimensions himself would address them with respect. What stunned the group was that the reception committee for new disciples this time included such an overwhelming array of five powerful figures. Of the five, even with the extensive experience of the Nether King, the Black Corpse King, and the three-faced apparition, they only recognized one or two. The strength and status of the others were even more formidable, making this lineup utterly shocking. What an overwhelming presence, Xiao muttered under his breath. However, his gaze momentarily wavered when it landed on Duan Qifei. Seeing her evasive eyes, he suddenly understood something. Brother, these guys, they're strong, Xiao frowned and whispered to Xiao. Among the five figures, the one completely encased in armor seemed to instill a sense of fear in Xiao. Don't worry, I'm here, Xiao reassured him, his keen observation taking note of every subtle movement. However, he couldn't ignore the fact that the Ferocious Soul Guards under the Lord of the Ferocious Soul might be closely tied to Xiao origins. They're finally here. Moments later, as the Black Corpse King and the others approached the pavilion, the five powerful figures inside turned their attention to them. Their focus, however, settled on Duan Qifei. This girl, is she the rumored reincarnator? When the five figures set their eyes on Duan Qifei, their hearts trembled slightly. However, they maintained their composure, wearing polite smiles. Clearly, they had already been informed of her status as a reincarnator before arriving. What they didn't know was her connection to the Thunder Lord's reincarnation. Otherwise, Duan Qifei would have become a true hot potato. After all, no matter how well the Nether King and the others concealed the information, it couldn't escape the intelligence network of the four great halls. Honorable lords, I am the Black Corpse King of the Black Corpse Abyss. This is one of our Black Corpse generals, who has already reached the early stage of 4-star Do Xian. With his strength alone, he eliminated all other contestants. Both his prowess and temperament make him an excellent candidate for the Judgment Hall, the Black Corpse King explained with a sycophantic smile. Hearing this explanation, Yuan Xiao of the Judgment Hall nodded slightly with a smile, though his gaze remained fixed on the girl quietly standing amidst the crowd. Why are these guys? At the same time, the three-faced apparition noticed the unusual focus of the five figures. I may have to leave now, Duan Qifei said. It seemed she had anticipated this moment long ago. There wasn't the slightest hint of panic on her face. Instead, her dark eyes fixed gently on Xiao, and she smiled faintly. Take care of yourself. If you ever need anything, just ask. I'll be spending quite some time in the Earth Spirit Hall, Xiao said after a brief silence. His voice carried a faint tone of farewell. The next time we meet, I'll definitely be stronger than you. Duan Qifei replied with a soft smile before slowly walking towards the armored Ferocious Soul Guard. Let's go, Senior. Her light and casual tone carried a mix of carefree spirit and a trace of reluctance. Parting today, who knew when they would meet again? Very well, the Ferocious Soul Guard responded without further delay. Black runic patterns, exuding eerie power, surged across his body and gently coiled around both himself and Duan Qifei. With a wave of his large hand, the surrounding space collapsed instantly, and the two figures stepped into the void, vanishing completely. Big brother, are you all right? Xiao watched Duan Qifei leave, and a wave of sadness welled up in his heart. However, it was merely the longing for a companion, nothing more. Duan Qifei seems to have some connection to the Lord of Ferocious Souls. For the Ferocious Soul Guard commander himself to escort her, murmured the Devourer of Souls abruptly after Duan Qifei's departure. Such matters can't escape the eyes of the Lord of Ferocious Souls after all. Forget it, the other four experts said after exchanging glances. Since things have come to this, let's start selecting disciples. I see a few exceptionally talented individuals among them, Zhouqi remarked. Let's begin, he said. This time, let the Soul Hall go first. Zhang Zhong of the Soul Hall stepped forward as his words fell. This individual possesses incredibly strong soul power, likely the most formidable among this group, Zhang Zhong commented as he walked back and forth in front of the 12 individuals, including Xiao, who stood in a line. After making his round, he returned to his original position. Young ones, I am Zhang Zhong of the Soul Hall. We focus on mastering soul power and assist the Lord of Ferocious Souls in studying soul arts. If you join us, your future accomplishments will be boundless, Zhang Zhong said calmly, his voice steady and reassuring. Can I join you? A girl who had been following the three-faced apparition hesitated briefly, then raised her hand with an eager expression. You can. Does anyone else have an opinion? Zhang Zhong said with a smile, pleased to have recruited a female disciple so easily. The Soul Hall, though known for its unorthodox approach, undoubtedly held immense potential. Unfortunately, they rarely managed to attract any promising talents. That seems to be all. You should be satisfied, Earth Spirit Old Ghost commented bluntly, after observing the remaining 11 individuals' silence. Fine. Zhang Zhong sighed, casting a helpless glance at the group before leading the girl aside. I am the Earth Spirit Old Ghost from the Earth Spirit Hall. If anyone is interested, you may join us. Here, you'll receive the best guidance and training. If fate allows, you may even become the right hand of the Lord of Ferocious Souls, the Earth Spirit Old Ghost said lazily. His main interest was the Reincarnator, so he showed little enthusiasm for the disciples. Nonetheless, he extended the invitation for formality's sake. I'll join the Earth Spirit Hall. So will I. Xiao and Xiao spoke one after the other as the Earth Spirit Old Ghost's words fell. Oh, you two seem interesting, the Earth Spirit Old Ghost said, his gaze locking onto Xiao. A peculiar tremor surged through Xiao body under the elder's scrutiny. Since these two are willing to join your Earth Spirit Hall, Earth Spirit Old Ghost, shouldn't you take them back quickly? Yuan Xiao snorted coldly after a moment. Fine. In that case, we'll leave first. The Earth Spirit Old Ghost waved his hand, and a dazzling force enveloped Xiao and Xiao, pulling them away in an instant. The Earth Spirit Hall, huh? Let's hope these two can shine brightly, the King of Nether Heaven remarked with a smile as Xiao and Xiao disappeared. Wait, what's that fluctuation? Sacred flame? Damn you! Earth Spirit Old Ghost, deliberately provoking me. At that moment, a faint earth-yellow fluctuation appeared where the Earth Spirit Old Ghost and his group had vanished. Within the Ferocious Soul domain, due to its transcendent status, there were no excessively oppressive restrictions. Consequently, whether one was human or a ghostly soul entity, there was little distinction. As long as one possessed sufficient strength, they could carve out a place for themselves in this realm teeming with powerful individuals. Swish! Moments later, Xiao and his companion regained consciousness, finding themselves amidst a vast mountain range. The lush vegetation covering the mountains exuded a vibrant energy. This vitality permeated the air, even stirring a greedy resonance within the suppressed wood attribute, Do core inside Xiao. "My lord," Xiao, noticing that Xiao Gui was still unconscious beside him, forced his eyes open. He turned to a nearby white-haired elder and spoke. His last memory was of a violent spatial disturbance that had rendered them both temporarily unconscious. Earlier, when this Earth Spirit Old Ghost probed their bodies, he had discovered Xiao's sacred flame. As a result, the elder had activated his own sacred flame, likely as a means to provoke Zhou Qi. "You're awake?" The elder, reclining lazily on a stone, sat upright at the sound of Xiao's voice. "Do you know where this is?" asked the Earth Spirit Old Ghost. "No," Xiao replied. "This is the Earth Spirit Mountain Range. Our Earth Spirit Hall, where we live and cultivate, is situated within a domain atop these mountains," the elder explained after a moment. His gaze lingered on the mountain peaks, where mist swirled and faint traces of immense power radiated outward. "The Earth Spirit Hall is actually suspended in the void atop the mountain?" Xiao asked, glancing around but seeing only an endless expanse of peaks and ridges. The Earth Spirit Mountain Range is a place of exceptionally dense natural energy. Because the Earth Spirit Hall serves the entire Ferocious Soul domain, it sees a continuous flow of visitors. The path to the mountain summit is fraught with challenges, but those who manage to ascend and enter the Earth Spirit Hall often gain the favor of its leaders and may even earn a chance to join. The Earth Spirit Hall itself lies within a vast domain suspended atop the mountain, created by a 7-star Doucian expert. It boasts abundant cultivation resources and numerous trial grounds, making it your ultimate destination, the Earth Spirit Old Ghost said calmly. "Come now, disciples entering the Earth Spirit Hall need not climb the mountain," he added, waving his hand. Instantly, a beam of light enveloped Xiao and Xiao Gui, propelling them toward the domain at the mountain summit. Creak. Moments after they vanished, a pale-faced man emerged from where Xiao and his companions had previously stood. "So, those people are from the Earth Spirit Hall. What formidable power. But I'm confident I'll succeed in climbing this mountain and entering the Earth Spirit Hall," the man declared before continuing toward the summit. Despite his frail appearance, he was a perfected 3-star Doucian. However, his gaunt figure left one doubting whether he could truly endure the climb. The Earth Spirit Mountain Range was encircled by peaks and dotted with numerous winding paths. Figures could be seen everywhere, all ascending toward the summit, where the entrance to the Earth Spirit Hall was rumored to lie. Most were individuals from the lower realms who lacked the direct recommendation of a Lord of Dimensions, forcing them to attempt the arduous climb in hopes of joining. As Xiao and his companions headed toward the Earth Spirit Hall's domain, elsewhere within a mysterious void at the heart of the Ferocious Soul domain, lay the divine hall of the Ferocious Soul Lord. "Master, the one you requested has been brought to you," spoke a ferocious soul guard clad in armor adorned with intricate patterns. He bowed respectfully toward a figure cloaked entirely in black robes. This man, though seemingly emanating a tranquil aura, had an oppressive presence that dimmed the very heavens and earth. He was none other than the ruler of the Ferocious Soul domain, the Ferocious Soul Lord. "Leave us," the black-robed man said softly. A hand, wreathed in dark patterns, emerged from beneath the robe and gestured dismissively. "Yes, my lord," the guard responded before retreating, leaving only Duan Qifei and the Ferocious Soul Lord behind. "Fair." The Ferocious Soul Lord removed his black robe, revealing a slightly ethereal form. His voice softened as he addressed Duan Qifei. "Fair, this is your home. There's no need to be formal." After finishing his words, the Lord of the Ferocious Soul Domain felt immense joy in his heart. With his near-peak strength, he easily discerned the reincarnation pattern on Duan Qifei's forehead. The power emanating from that pattern was far stronger than that of ordinary reincarnations, faintly accompanied by the sound of countless thunderclaps. He naturally recognized it as the reincarnation of the Thunder Lord. "I owe your mother an apology, but this time, I will ensure that no one harms you," he continued. "Soon, the Ferocious Soul Domain will be handed entirely to you. Consider it my compensation for your mother." After hesitating for a moment, the Lord of the Ferocious Soul Domain spoke these words with a heavy heart. "There's no need for that. I only wish to stay here quietly. Unless absolutely necessary, I will not take action," Duan Qifei replied, her delicate eyes glimmering. It was evident that there was a primordial resonance between the Lord of the Ferocious Soul Domain and her mother, indicating a blood connection. This realization had come to Duan Qifei when her reincarnation powers were prematurely awakened. However, she kept this truth hidden from her father, Duan Tianhong, as she did not wish to cause him undue concern. "When chaos broke out in the Ferocious Soul Domain years ago, your mother fled amidst the turmoil. By the time I restored peace, I could no longer find her." The Lord of the Ferocious Soul Domain's voice carried a tinge of sorrow. "It wasn't until decades ago, when she passed away, that she left behind a trace of your presence, and only then did I realize." "There's no need to say more. I know it all." Duan Qifei shook her head slowly, cutting him off. She had no desire to listen further. After all, how could someone as powerful as the Lord of the Ferocious Soul Domain abandon an entire region for her mother? "Then I will leave." As his words fell, the Lord of the Ferocious Soul Domain's figure abruptly vanished from the Grand Hall, leaving Duan Qifei alone. Standing quietly, Duan Qifei's delicate eyes flickered, and a boundless and destructive aura emanated from the reincarnation pattern on her forehead. "Thunder Lord, with such overwhelming power, why do you refuse to awaken and reclaim control?" she murmured. "Reincarnator, even if you've bestowed all this strength upon me, I fear I will never become one of the great thousand worlds' supreme powers. All I desire is to live as an ordinary woman, to find someone I love, and to build a small, simple family." Her voice, tinged with a trace of melancholy, echoed through the empty hall. Duan Qifei knew that, as a reincarnator, she carried all the power of the Thunder Lord. However, the essence of the Thunder Lord resided within the cycle of reincarnation. Unless she fully awakened it, she would never be at ease wielding such power. What puzzled her most was that the Thunder Lord's essence, hidden within the reincarnation, seemed to harbor an innate loathing for Xiao Yin and Xiao Gui, the Xiao clan, irreconcilable enemies. At that moment, the Thunder Lord's essence within the reincarnation pattern surged as if provoked, releasing a violent and murderous aura. Witnessing this, Duan Qifei could only shake her head. She understood that as her reincarnation powers awakened, her strength would continue to soar. Even the Thunder Lord's memories would gradually surface in her mind. Yet, once reincarnation was complete, would she still be Duan Qifei, or would she become the Thunder Lord? She could not say.